What are you seeing in DeFi lately, Chris? What's going on? What's exciting?
I think what's exciting is that the primitives are being put together into real usable applications. There's still a lot of primitives being introduced, but every single day that comes in, people are adding new things to this pizza. It's going to be a really supreme pizza with all the toppings that you want.
I love it. Like, when I think of primitives, I think like stable coins is one really core one. And I've just seen a ton of different takes on stable coins. Like, how do you keep it by its peg? What do you want the peg to be? It doesn't have to be $1. It can be an arbitrary number.
Yeah.
And there's
the thing about stablecoin is that, at the end of the day, people want to use stablecoin to do something. It's great that we have many types of stablecoin, but they should be more fungible, right? Like to be able to pay with any stablecoin that's accepted by a merchant, it's kind of the same way you can accept any currency accepted by Visa, right? So those are the things we're going to start seeing, is that these primitives becomes on-ramp for different currencies and different community. But at the end of the day, it's just payments.
All right, we're here with Chainlink Live with Cardstack and Chris Say. My name's Andy Boyan with Chainlink Labs. And Chris, why don't you get started and tell us, like, what is Cardstack, what's exciting about it, and then jump into what is CardPay, your new product, your new release.
Absolutely. So Cardstack is thinking about building a decentralized software ecosystem, replacing the Silicon Valley giants, hosted and lock in into an open source, open marketplace for people to build any type of software that you want. So we're focusing on essentially composability, not only on chain, but in the cloud, in your mobile app, so that one interface, Cardstack, allows you to access all the great things on Web3.
Great. So I can build my own dApp using elements from Cardstack. That's the idea?
Absolutely. And we have this idea of a composable unit called cards. They're like mini applications, and you can combine them together to build workflows or build your own space and do task tracking. And that's the idea of our kind of framework.
That's cool. I heard a bit last year about like a no-code revolution is coming, and that sort of idea. And we've seen that on some apps, but it seemed hard for Web3 stuff. But is that your model? Is that the basic idea?
Yeah, I think no code is a very high bar. So to be able to allow end user to composable, that means that you also make it more composable for developers. We don't believe that the end user just get trapped into some limited capability to skin and change the color. We want end user to actually build real apps. And if they go beyond the capability, because it's open source, developer can come in and build a module or build an integration completely running on the same platform.
But it's still smart to me, when I see people trying to build applications, you don't want everything on the developer. Nobody can understand the engineering except for one person on the team. That stifles speed to market and innovation as well, and creativity. Okay, so you've got these different elements you can plug in, and one of these is CardPay. Is that right? Is that the new one?
Yeah, so we're starting basically with the same one, with wrapping the primitives about crypto as it exists today, which is mostly around like stablecoin, DeFi, and payments. And say, well, let's start with those building blocks, because that's the one people know, people use them. And the way we look at it is that how do we make that DeFi ecosystem accessible to regular people, and using that as a way to test out all of our deployment, all of our dApp hosting, all the wallet connect stuff, so that we can use that as a way to not only pay for whatever product you can buy with crypto, but also as the foundational like point system, almost like V-Bucks or like Roblox bucks for our marketplace. So we're leading with payments because it's crypto. We start with value, and that's where we begin. Cool.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier. Cardstack's been around for a while. Like you guys have been building this. I've got comments here from community that are really excited to see you guys coming live and launching this stuff. So it seems like you guys have been building for a while. For people that are just joining us, my name is Andy Boyan with Chainlink Labs, and this is Chris Say from Cardstack. We're talking about CardPay, and they recently integrated Chainlink. Chris, what do you guys use Chainlink for?
I think what we use Chainlink for is using the amazing decentralized and reliable price feed and use that to help with exchange rates. At the end of the day, payments, when you go to a foreign country with your credit card, there's a bunch of conversion going on. Like, what currency do you have? What is the interchange fee? What does the merchant want to accept in? And based on that, figure it out way to say how many of your dollars or euro do we deduct from your account or bank account, prepaid credit card to give to the merchant. We use Chainlink to help with that orchestration.
When Tesla announced that they were accepting Bitcoin, my father-in-law calls me and he's like, should I do that? Should we get a Tesla? And I was like, I don't know how it works. I don't know what's the exchange rate and how that actually works. But when it comes to payments, that's a huge question. Is or if you're getting paid too, like when do you get paid? If you're getting paid in crypto, how much is that worth? When do you do that? And so to have a reliable price feed at the market price you need, because you want to be fair to people.
Absolutely. And I think one thing worth thinking is that we, in DeFi, especially with trading and Uniswap being the real leader here, we always think we have to swap the token for it to be kind of locked down exchange rate. But in a lot of cases, you don't need to. If the merchant accepts euro, pay me in digital euro. That's fine. We just have to figure out what is the rate at the time of the purchase so we can transfer the currency exchange risk from the customer to the merchant. That's not all that different than going to pay someone in Bitcoin and Telegram. You decide what price, usually USD, and you say, hey, okay, this is the rate lock on Bitstamp or something, and then you agree on that. We just automate that using Chainlink and the protocol in front of it.
Now, if you transfer the risk to the customer, does that make it cheaper and easier for merchants to accept crypto as well?
Yes, I think crypto, they don't need to have a fee for the slippage, right? So as long as they are willing to say, you know what, I'll take Doge, I'll take the currency up in risk, I accept Doge, and suddenly you will get exactly the mid-market rate, no spreads, right? Because there's no spread in Chainlink. We just take the fairest, most decentralized consensus rate on Doge to USD and use that as the way to transfer the number of Doge necessary to fulfill the USD or whatever value of the merchant's price.
You know, payments is a really interesting industry. I don't think people know how many parties are involved in the traditional payments ecosystem, and so much ends up getting offloaded to the merchants. Like if you want to sell something at your store, you got to decide what card to accept, how you want to accept checks, like what your bank allows, how you're going to deposit those. If you're dealing in cash and you get $5,000 at the end of a day, like what do you do with that pile of cash? There's a lot of tricks in there. So how does CardPay and Cardstack, how do you guys envision joining this system, or what kind of reactions are you getting from people in payments?
I think what happens when we talk to people in payments that they see the idea of cryptocurrency as so efficient and so easy, because just by having an Ethereum blockchain, you've got rid of the issuing bank, the merchant thing. These are all just on-chain accounts. And so once you have exchange rate, got rid of the interchange, the foreign exchange aspect. So not all you're left with is fiat on-ramp and off-ramp, which, by the way, you can't uniformly does in different country, different jurisdiction, different needs. But imagine all you need is on-board to crypto and off-board to crypto. Everything else, the payment is all wallet to wallet. That's much easier than trying to figure out which QR code to scan, which card is a chip, is it swipe? Do I use PayPal? Do I log in? Do I type my PayPal password on the supermarket terminal? Those will seem very archaic almost overnight.
Yeah, it's gonna overnight. I hope that would be nice. Right now, we're still dealing with that. Is which way do I stick my card in? I'm slapping it against the thing. Doesn't work.
Yes. Please remove card. Please don't remove card. Put it back in, but not now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is cool. Hey, we've got a great amount of people watching here to learn about Cardstack and CardPay. Look how excited people are here. So excited for Cardstack's project future. Great foundational work. Awesome to have your community here. And I see the Link community, Chainlink community is here as well. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Mark's in here, popping in links to Cardstack so you guys can go look at them. But don't go yet. Keep watching because we've got more stuff coming up. Chris, you had some screens you wanted to share. I want to see demos. And people, you want to see demos? Let's do it.
Cool. All right, let me share my screen. 1 second. So we are focusing on something called DeFi payments. I think payments as a category is a bit small. If you look at like DeFi Pulse, it's a small category, and we think it can be bigger. And the way we look at it is to build a dApp and build a mobile wallet. And the reason we build a dApp is so that we can get onboarded value from layer 1 to layer 2. So if we do transaction layer 1 is $80, or yesterday is or today or like $200 per transaction. But if we can get it in bulk, so let's say move $1 million, $2 million, $5 million of value over as a token supply, you have now funded the economic bandwidth in this layer 2. And that's what we're building this dApp to allow people to kind of move value in bulk, almost like shipping a crate of supplies to an island. And then you do it once. And then once you have it, all the transaction is done between customer and merchants on mobile app in layer 2. And those fees here is less than 1 cent. We use XDAI chain as the first chain, which certainly has hope to integrate all the chains and use cross-chain liquidity to allow you to pay between chains like Matic and XDAI. But we're starting with XDAI chain because that's great support for Wallet Connect, and obviously smart contract wallet like Gnosis Safe works really well on XDAI chain. We use that as a way to do that. So we have the web app. So let's take a look at what that would look like. This is one of the workflow that we support, which is allowing people with tokens to issue a prepaid card. So this is like creating a account you can give to your friend. So you just basically load up a balance of stablecoin into a wallet, and instead of giving them transfer and giving them gas, you just give the entire wallet to them. Sure. So this prepaid card is basically a smart contract wallet that you can pre-create on layer 2, and then so that suppliers who has bridged, let's say $1 million worth of token, a stable coin, can create like $100 each, and then they can just give it to people, almost like an NFT, like giving someone like a prepaid card in exchange for something. And then once you create a prepaid card, whoever buys this prepaid card basically have a wallet and all the gas they would need to be able to conduct transaction the same way. If I give you an Amazon gift card, you can buy an Amazon or in in-person store if it was for a particular retailer. So this is the process, and not only because this is kind of a orchestration for this particular workflow, this workflow engine, the idea of this 66% is actually the Cardstack workflow system that we're using for our software ecosystem.
You're breaking up again, but this idea of building a module for a prepaid card, prepaid cards. So there's basically like 3 kind of cards in the industry, or maybe 4. But there's credit cards where you don't have money yet. You swipe your card and then you're going to pay it later. There's a prepaid card where you preload your funds and then you pay it and it comes off the card. A debit card is really similar to a prepaid card. It's when you have cards in a fund already. And so when you swipe the card, it then goes and pulls those funds. And then there's a gift card, which it seems kind of similar to this, because you can gift it, you can swap that out, and you can transact with that a little bit. So this is really cool. And this is a module. This is the card pay module that people can then use as part of their Cardstack application that they're building or dApp that they're building.
Exactly. And the prepaid card is about the easiest way to get started. And then obviously for debit card, that type of stuff, you would need to have access to an existing wallet. And as these prepaid balance becomes more what people use every day, your prepaid card kind of becomes your debit card, because there's no difference between a balance in a Ethereum wallet, whether that's prepaid or reloadable.
All right, hey, I'm seeing your comments. Guys, we're here with Chris Say from Cardstack, talking about card pay and Chainlink. My name is Andy Boyan from Chainlink Labs. If you have questions, I can see your comments. We are open to questions from you guys. I think there were some earlier as well. So one sec, Chris, I want to see if I can find this question here. People are curious about the role of the card token within your ecosystem and the Cardstack ecosystem. And I think you touched on this a little bit, at least implicitly, but if you can talk a little bit about that, what's the role there?
Yeah, so in the US especially, there is this credit card reward points pioneered by American Express, where it's membership reward points. So if you spend money, you get points. And that's essentially the primary way we're going to distribute tokens to people who are spending money, because that's the most real economic value that you want to reward. Liquidity mining rewards liquidity. We do spend mining. So that's one way for us to bootstrap the network to get more people with card token. So that's the number one thing, is incentive to get people to choose this payment method over other ones. The second thing, the card token, is that there's also a protocol fee. Like the same way we want to make sure that this protocol has incentive for people to provide prepaid card services, be issuers, provide rewards. So we actually distribute and/or burn a portion of the fee, similar to how protocol fees are deducted from Aave or something like that. And that can be used based on governance for a variety of things, including burning it, distributing it to certain people as rewards, distributing to merchant and customers for spending this. So that unit for reward is what we use card for. And then the final one is that there are certain services on the network to register yourself as a trusted merchant, to vote for stablecoin to be included, especially new ones come out. Those governance feature will require card token, and that will create demand for it.
That's a really interesting idea. Your point number 2 I was thinking about is, not only do we in Web3 need to think about how do we incentivize people, but we also need to lower barriers. And right now there's a lot of barriers in crypto, like just the idea of having fees that the end user pays instead of the merchant. When you go to the store and you swipe your card, the merchant pays those fees and you pay them implicitly. Like, you don't know you pay them, but you really do. But in crypto, your wallet pops up and says, do you want to pay $50 or $200 to make this, to send money? And so using the token in that way is just a really interesting.
So card is a gas token, and the good thing about it is that because we're using layer 2, the fees are lower. It will go up, right? As demand comes up, block space will become more expensive. But the most interesting thing is that all of what we do is from a smart contract wallet called Nosa Safe, which is usually used on mainnet to manage big treasury. But the basic mechanism of multi-sig wallet works for small denomination as well if the gas fees are cheaper. So we're actually doing meta transactions. We're using card as a token. So if you're on XDAI chain, you can use DAI or even card to pay the fee using ERC20. You don't need the native token. We have a relayer using the great tools that Gnosis has already made, Gnosis Relay Service, an open source project, as a way to make it so that, hey, once you load up the balance, don't worry about gas, we'll deal with that. And that's really practical in layer 2, and we're making that some completely seamless behind a mobile app.
Yeah, that's we're seeing a lot of. I'm seeing questions about other layer 2s. I don't know if you can talk about specifics. Sometimes those things need to wait for their time, but people are asking about. So I won't put that one up there. But Luke, I see your question, and I appreciate those as well. And people. So another question people are having is about where your plans are for these things to be accepted. Like, are you talking to merchants, and what are kind of the questions that merchants have? Everybody wants to know who, of course. You can say that if you can. But what are some of the questions that merchants have or the concerns that they have when they're thinking about this?
Yeah, so there's traditional merchant that has brick and mortar that has a terminal you go up, and then in Asia especially, a lot of them accept QR code based scanning services. Mm-hmm. Now obviously Wallet Connect is very close to that, but there's still a little bit more work to do. I expect that to be the prevailing thing, even in countries a little bit behind. Mobile payment will be the main thing. I think the most interesting people who are looking at this as in like they really need it is actually people selling digital goods online. Right? For example, Twitter about a week and a half ago did a tipping service, and they used PayPal. And if you pay someone PayPal, they share your home address. That's not good. If you're tipping someone and you're basically leaking your home address to them. So there's a lot of problems in digital payments. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to focus on maybe the NFT marketplace or the kind of adjacent marketplace. So like what kind of pure digital goods that doesn't make sense for you to integrate a credit card or like check and stuff like that. With that being said, mobile payment, our wallet, QR code base is very compatible with where the world is going. And we expect to create an SDK that is very easy for point of sale manufacturer, people who make these terminals. Very fragmented market. We would think that Square will have a monopoly on it. They don't. They have like a very tiny percentage. Every country has their own software company building hardware and software for them. We want to make sure that's like, hey, you do support WeChat? This is very much like it, except it's crypto payment on the other side. So that's the way we want to do it, and start it with digital payment and going further and further with digital terminals into more kind of real world payment, knowing that in my heart of heart that more and more of this will shift digitally. So we should focus on that to make that work well.
You know, the Square example is great. Is Square has a sliver of the market, but they're still a behemoth. That just shows what the market opportunity is, right?
Yes.
And you think about the need for payments and digital payments, right? People have problems with payments and they need to solve them easily, and we need a good crypto solution. And this sounds fantastic. So I'm excited about this, and I think our audience is too. Here, hey, I had another question for you. Sorry, I got off my question list just because we got talking about this stuff, but that's okay. So this kind of lines up. What about other sort of traditional payments or new fintechs like Shopify or Stripe or Square, PayPal? How do they compare to this type of solution?
I think it's going to be a little bit harder for people who have a traditional e-commerce mindset, checkout and like pick one of the payment to really embrace Web3. Like the same way you don't expect like a traditional retailer to be the most advanced thinking. It's actually easier to say, hey, we got crypto payment, right? Card pay. What if you make a crypto storefront? Where will you do that? Will you do that on WordPress? Maybe you can, maybe you can. Where's the Wallet Connect on WordPress? So what we've decided to do is to say, well, let's go build the Shopify storefront for crypto products, including NFTs and other kind of redeemable socks or shirts or something like that. And I think that's what we will see is that people who adopted their wallet and Wallet Connect and that kind of QR code will want to do more with their balances. So instead of using a prepaid card to pay merchant, you're paying hosting company or you're paying protocol to do something for you. That's what we're doing with Cardspace, which is the next release after CardPay, is to start thinking about the storefront for merchant, not just merchant, but also influencers and creators interested in crypto, community, want to sell swags and sell memberships. Those, I believe, is the growth area, intersect very nicely with the second generation of NFT products on the market.
I mean, the creator economy right now, we can see with the Dogecoins and the Kitas and all those things, is just blowing up on the TikToks and everything. How old do I sound on the TikToks? I am that old
on the
to
TikToks.
say on the TikToks.
Yeah.
But right, you've got this generation of content creators who they may want to have their own crypto storefront, and as well as a traditional one side by side. And when one outperforms the other, or if any of them is a viable revenue stream for them, that's pretty important to do. I know some creators who they're on Twitch and they're just trying to figure it out. They don't really care how they get paid as long as they can get paid in an easy way.
Yeah, and the great thing about the composability of crypto is that, it's very hard for you to come up with a mileage program for an airline. There's a lot of work to it. But to create a reward program for a creator or group of creators, really easy. That's just a community token of different sorts. So I think part of the advantage of us is that once we build the reward distribution for Card Token, which is like the base level reward for our entire network, support every merchant and customer, the same mechanism for reward distribution. You spend $1, you get this. If you have this level, you get double the rewards. That same mechanism, which we call the tally protocol, is available to all users, including creators. So imagine creator using our situation to use to actually reward company who's a user who's actually spending money buying NFTs. That's how they can distribute the token much better than an Excel spreadsheet and an expensive airdrop on mainnet.
Cool. Well, this has been fantastic. We got a lot of questions, and so I want to encourage our community. Hit up Chris on Twitter, or maybe up Cardstack on Twitter. I'm going to drown his mentions out. And there's plenty of communities that we'll make sure and drop down in the description if they're not there already. Got a great amount of viewers. Now's the time. Drop in any more questions specifically about CardPay, about the release, about what was this called? Cardspace is the next one?
Cardspace, yes, Cardspace. So that's the dApp hosting, no code, so very easy to use, drag and drop. You can create your own crypto distribution, reward program, as well as merchandises that you can price, and people can pay using the Layer 2 wallet that we provide. And it's compatible with any Web3 wallet, including MetaMask, but we made it so much easier because you can Apple Pay, load up a balance, and stop spending.
There is a tweet thread from Cardstack from a couple of days ago that I'm going to drop in the chat because it actually helps. This helped me a lot. It's about the card protocol and like how incentives and stuff work. So I'm just going to drop this in right here. I found this helpful. Everyone, if you want to go take a look later, stay on this video because we're not done yet. We are wrapping up. We are on time. So I do want to thank you for coming, Chris. And I really want to thank the audience here for asking great questions and being with us. Before we go, you said Cardspace is next. What else is on the roadmap for Cardstack? Get us excited. And then show off your T-shirt before you go too. I want to see
absolutely. So after Cardspace, which is a hosting platform of dApp, one of the things we want to do is to make an app store so that new developers of dApps and other new protocol can add new modules so that people who are creating the space can pull in a module to book an hour at a time if you have a certain community level. So those type of features do not need to be in 15 dApps where you have to remember the URL and make sure it's not a scam, right? So you do it all on one site, whichever URL you choose, Cardspace XYZ or something like that, and that becomes your way to tap into all the developers' creativity and assemble user experience just for your community and your audience. So Card Catalog, which is our marketplace for components for Cardspace, is coming in Q4.
I have a card catalog. Like I'm gonna look down there on my right. There's actually a card catalog back there. I love it. One.
Yep, they don't make them anymore, so you have an antique there.
We had to salvage it. Anyways, fantastic. So we got some roadmap stuff, a ton more coming from Cardstack. Show off your shirt. I got this shirt years ago, and I've lost it since because now it was years ago, and I need to get together with you. We're going to do swag swap at the next conference.
This is the original Unisocks. This is the Card shirt. We don't make them anymore, and it was a limited run. I should have made an ERC 20 token on it. That may be something.
If only we'd known.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, good. This is awesome. Follow Cardstack on Twitter. Join the Discord. Join the Telegrams. Join the Chainlink Telegram and Discord. These sort of conversations happen there. We talk about hackathons. We talk about new releases. And we come together to do these really interesting integrations and hopefully inform our community, each other's communities, about what's going on. So, Chris, I really appreciate you coming on today to talk about Cardstack. Again,
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. My name is Andy Boyan. This has been Chainlink Live from Chainlink Labs. And I want to thank everybody for coming. Be sure to like and subscribe because we've got many more Q&As like this with awesome projects just like Cardstack. We'll see you guys next time.